All right, everyone. We still got people coming in. If you haven't done so yet, feel free to tell us where you're joining us from today. We got Canada here. Croatia is here. Wow, Toronto. Um, See a couple of Torontos out there. So we've gone international again. Birmingham, Alabama. Yeah, that might be international. Um, so welcome. Thank you everybody for joining us. This is our very first, this is a new event type for the Bluegrass IIBA chapter. We're going to do these lunch and learns um, once a month, um, over a BA technique, or we might go outside of techniques or what. If you have an interest, you got a technique, it can be in the Babak or like this one that is not in the Babak or any of the guides that IIBA publishes, feel free. And you can let me know at finance@bluegrass.iiba.org that you have an interest in presenting a lunch and learn. Let me know what topic you want to present in that. And we'll see if that's doable and we could get you on the schedule. So again, seeing quite a few more people uh, coming here. Um, I hope they all get in here soon and everything. So appreciate you all being here. Since most of us got to get back to work, well, not me, I'm off work today. Um, we'll get things started. And we don't need to see mail. Geez. I'm going to work today in just Microsoft Word, just to demonstrate. You don't need those big newer things to build this in. I would do this in Visio, at work. Could do it in Visio here, but just want to demonstrate that you don't need those type things. I've done mock-ups and things. I've done screen mock-ups and used the bookmarks in Word to make it semi-functional. So I could go from one point in the Word document to another to show the functionality. You click this button, this is where you're going to go. So, Word is a very viable thing, maybe even Excel. You could do these kind of mock-ups and everything in. So our topic today is a systems ecosystem map, which maybe a lot of people haven't heard of. It's not in any of the guides that IIBA publishes. Maybe you did a Google search after you heard that term and went out there and looked at it. But it's exactly what it says. It shows you the whole ecosystem that your system is going to operate in. So, of course, when I would use this is when I need to know data that is passed from system to system, what system transforms that data to some other data and then passes it downstream. So, when it's important to know what's upstream, how your system or what data your system receives from other systems, and then how it passes that downstream, then an ecosystem map is very useful to you and everything. So one thing I want to do is contrast this to the context diagram. So the context diagram is something that, is more known. A lot of BAs use the ecosystem or the context diagram. And so let's see what that looks like. So your system, maybe I don't need it that big. You'd put in the middle of the thing, you'd give it a name, and it would be drawn as a system. Let's use a financial system or an accounting system that we're going to integrate with within our system. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Often it is a ellipse thing in that. And then your external entities, as they are called for a context diagram, would be squares or rectangles. Um, if I could get I didn't want that one. They would be just that. And, you would give them a name. So what would interact with a financial system? Let's say we got a CRM within our company, and it's going to, send data to and from, the uh, uh, financial system. And you would name this data too. So you don't just put lines on it. You would give it a name. So we're going to send customer data to it. So gotta kind of fix up um, the word things here. Do make it a little smaller and that. Yeah, we don't need 11 on data tags basically. So yeah, we would be sending customer data to it. There may be data that the financial system sends back um, to it, or it may actually be receiving the customer data. Where's my cursor? Way over there. From the system and that. You give that a data tag as well um, to it. So you can also have more than one line going um, to, in each direction in that. So we got more data that we are sending, to that system and that. So just general customer data. Say your Salesforce puts visits, to that customer, um, in the CRM, and that could go to the financial system as well. What else might you have that goes in? Well, you definitely need some kind of sales or point of sale system, right? I mean, as long as you're selling products and that, you're going to have a sales system. And and it may actually let's move this one over here. It may, now that we got customer data from the CRM, we will send that to the sales system. What are we going to get from the sales system? This can be interactive. Feel free to come off chat and talk. And, as I ask a question like that, what data will we get from the sales system to our financial system? Their purchases, right?
For your sales system, you may have a separate pricing software that would be connected in as well.
Could be pricing data and that. But the important part would be sales data, right? What did we sell to them and that, so we can invoice it. So we could invoice it, right? So either the financial system is going to invoice it, um, or we have a separate invoicing system, right?
Your sales system could be the same thing as your financial system, Aaron, and if it's an ERP system, a lot of them combine them.
Absolutely. So it's really, all of this is really depends on how the systems are set up within, your company.
And of course, a lot of times they're not going to have it neatly all tie into one. It's going to be, well, this stuff is over here and that stuff's over there. And
Absolutely. Just like, we got customer data from the CRM and then sent it to the sales system. You're probably going to send it to the invoicing system as well. And that, and then, your invoicing system, of course, invoicing may be part of your financial system. So I don't want to, relish on this. I'm sure you're all very aware of, um, a context diagram. Um, other things that you would have, the other side of the table, or the office, is vendors and purchasing. So you may even have a vendor management system, um, in your company. So I know in ours, we have a entire team and a system in that, involved in that. Uh, your financial systems will put out financial statements every so often, probably monthly, quarterly, and annual. Go to the auditors and things of that nature. Uh, what else? That one to do. Um,
Transportation.
since we have a Salesforce out there, they're probably driving company cars, and we want a fleet tracking or fleet management system to track those expenses and all of that. So these would all have all kinds of lines, data, showing
Uh,
exactly what.
what about the transportation for selling to getting the products to the customer?
Yeah. So if you do delivery yourself, as opposed to have a third party deliver it.
And
Or
Absolutely.
there
just
could also
logistics in
be,
general.
yeah, and a WMS system where you've got the product being stored. If you're a distribution type place or a manufacturer, you're going to have WMS systems you have to manage. That would be related.
Warehousing, yep. Okay, so now let's contrast that, something we're all pretty familiar with. Um, with oh, got that as a save thing. Let's talk about so this is going to be our financial system ecosystem map. Not cooperating today. Not cooperating at all today. I don't often use Word for these things. Like I said, I use Visio, so but I did want to demonstrate, it is easy to do these things in something like Word and that. Got something a little extra here. So on an ecosystem map, our system that we're going to have is also a square or a rectangle within the thing. You want to put it pretty close to the middle of the diagram. You can offset it left or right, whichever you want to do. And that, so this will be our financial system. And it does help to spell it right. So now, since this is our system that we're working on in that, So your system under discovery, as some would put it, you want to make the outline just a little bit darker. So we know which, or a little more bold, just so we know what system we're talking about. Let's not make it so big.
Aaron, if I may ask, so for this diagram, you usually put one system in the center and you focus on interactions of that system with everything else, not necessarily how the other systems speak between each other.
Well, that's the one thing, and that's the advantage the ecosystem map has over the context diagram is that it can show when other systems talk to each other, and then that data makes its way to your system. So you may be getting customer data from the point of sale system and that, but it really originated in the CRM and that. So when it's important to know that kind of difference in that, so you could skip, going and talking to it to the sales system and that, go straight to the CRM system and that. And again, like we were saying in the context diagram, it's all about, how your systems are set up. Every company kind of does things differently. They may, uh, set your system up, that you get the customer data direct from the CRM. It may be the CRM sends its sales system and then the financial system gets it from there. So it really is, how things are set up within your company. And so we may get customer data straight from there. You're going to have a sales system. This may be point of sales system or what. You will get, sales data from there, customer sales. And you can also show, I wish I had better lines than, Word, Visio has much better. So you may get your sales system. We may be sending that customer data to the sales system, so the CRMs may give it to the financial system, and then your financial system.
So Aaron, I wanted to bring up, you're doing everything based on each one of these is a unique system. When you run an ERP system, a lot of that's going to be in one larger, broader system, right? And for us, the CRM is not the system of truth. It's our ERP system that we push the data to the CRM. So you want to make sure you take into context that type of where your system of truth is and how it goes together.
Yes, very good point. And maybe that would have been a better thing to demonstrate today is an ERP system versus a financial system. And
the only reason I call that out is because our system, our ERP does have our financials, all the dimensions and stuff are inside of that ERP system. All of our customers are located there. The customer contact proof is there. And then we push it out to Salesforce, which is our CRM, right? So there's a lot of different ways you need to understand where the data truly starts from to create a quality ecosystem that you're building out. But this would definitely be useful for all the integrations with your technical systems, your EDI translators, your us, we have pricing or demand planning is external to our ERP system. So there's a lot of that type of stuff that I think would be really interesting to try and draw out the way you're doing it.
Okay. And you could see right away once this gets all built out and everything, that uh, exactly which system you're talking about because it's right there in the middle and it's bold. And so we're going to send customer sales data to our invoicing system because that's separate of our financial system. Maybe, in your company, it is within the financial system. Invoices come straight out of there. Um, and the nice thing I like to do in an ecosystem map is search for um, the images that I'm trying to use. So you could use different images. Not everything has to be a square like it was in the um, thing. So these are our invoices that are going to go out on paper to our things. And typically your way of showing multiple documents is to put three of them together like that. And these, we may even want to show that these are going to go out in the mail and that. Who's going to be interested in these? Who's going to receive them? Your customers are, right?
Vendors?
So, well, this is customer sales. It's your vendor, your purchases, what you purchase from the vendors. You're going to need purchase orders, and then those will eventually be the vendors' invoices to you. And that. So that's that side of the house. But when you're talking about customers, um, now instead of sales, these are invoice. And that. And then who's going to receive them? Um, that's going to be your customers, right? See that nice and handsome guy there? Things don't have to be so big or anything. So you could show that these are going to customers. I'm going to put them over there. Um, okay. Now you may also have something we do in our company and that not necessarily um, not necessarily with invoices and that is we could send these out electronic. So you got electronic things. And instead of sending them directly in that, we send them to a service that we send one gigantic file. So this is, we send them one electronic gigantic file with all our invoices in, and this is a third party um, service and that really splits that file up and then delivers them, or the customer actually comes. I actually drew this one. Well, that's okay. Um, the customer actually comes in and picks it up from the third party, let's call it the post office. So this would be that the customer comes and gets it, and they're not paper invoices. Actually, I didn't want to draw that directly because what they will put out is just data and that. So this is the data symbol and these type of things. So it's no longer paper invoices in this. This is just invoice data and that. Make it a little smaller. So you can see here you can illustrate things by using more documents or more shapes and that to send a different message. So this is electronic customer invoices. I guess it's going to have to be a little bit larger. And I could mess with that to make it even smaller in that, but like I said, in this particular service, the customer is going to come and get it, themselves and everything. So you can see how you're delivering to customers, vendors, anything else. Another thing your financial system will put out, you could show it puts it out, on paper directly, your financial statements and that. So I don't think, like Retta was saying earlier, you have more of integrated systems. Your financial system's probably putting this out directly, and that as opposed to sending it to some financial system that has your general ledger, APRP, and things of that nature. So who's going to be interested in your financial statements? And typically when you're talking about a group of people, you'll show 3 people together, and you should actually name them too. So I didn't name this group down here, which you should absolutely do. So these were this is why I like doing it on Visio. These were our customers, right? Get it right up under there. So very common that you would put 3 people together in that. But who's interested in this? Or seeing your financial statements? Not your customers might be, but your company
Investors.
executives. Yes, absolutely, Peter. Your investors. So that's a different group. So I will put a second set of individuals out here who's going to be interested in receiving those. Might have to put them out here to the left.
Regulators too may be interested.
I was going there. If you're publicly traded in that, SEC, CSEC, or any regulators that. So your audit department, who were these? The investors.
Aaron, since you already have 3 people in your icon, you could also kind of have one label with commas and list all of them. It's going to be a crowd.
Yeah, it could get a crowd there. You could make them even smaller. The people icon, even smaller, if necessary. find a way to fit them in. So regulators would be interested in seeing your financials, especially if you're publicly traded. So just wanted to give you this idea of, what an ecosystem map or a systems ecosystem map is. Um, Again, you would, label this data. So this is just financial data, right? That you're going to put to the financial systems or your financial statements. And then all these individual groups, would definitely be interested in these. And so, these are probably extra large. Here can even blow this up a little more for you to see even better. I would definitely, if I was actually creating a full ecosystem map, is show, make all those things a little bit smaller because, we don't even have the purchasing system in here, your vendor management system, payroll, HR, would all be interacting with your financial system. So those would all be on here too. So you would think every thing on here would have to be a little bit smaller to fit it all in. We talked about a fleet management system for those sales vehicles we have out there and any delivery vehicles that we may have. So again, I would use this when it is important to see, where data comes from to your system and how your system passes data downstream and to what systems and who relies on that. Um, then a system ecosystem map is a very good one to use. So it's just like the context diagram, it is good for a scoping document. Um, but again, it's when data is very important, understanding data, how systems transform data to pass it further downstream to your system, or how data you're passing downstream gets transformed, like the invoicing system. Is it paper invoices or is it electronic invoicing? Um, all of that. So the other group we didn't put out here was our auditors. So you probably have an external auditing company that reviews and audits your financial statements, especially if you're publicly traded. So that just really wanted to give you an idea of what a system ecosystem map is, how to draw one. Certainly better tools than Word to do it in, but it can be done in Word. So don't think that you have to have Visio or some prototyping tool like Just in Mind or Top Team Analyst or any of those to actually create one of these. So really any diagramming tool can do it, and it can be done in Microsoft Word as well. So any questions on that? Any feedback? Do you like it? Do you think you can use this in the future with your work?
Aaron, we use something similar, isn't even in architecture team, but definitely as a senior BA, you can also create it. We have a different name, application landscape, but I think the idea is the same. You show all of the main applications, how they communicate, and oftentimes you'll also show these external partners. So I love that, definitely. And I think that when BAs encounter the situation where there is a strong architecture team, maybe they already have this diagram, then amazing, just ask for it. But if you discover that it's not there, definitely you can put one together because it's in your competencies as an analyst, to connect objects, understand how they exchange data. So I think it's very useful, and it's okay to encroach into architecture, definitely, especially if nothing is coming out. The other thing I wanted to add is that sometimes if I'm in a situation where I don't have Visio or any fancy tool, I'd go to PowerPoint. It's already landscape, and it allows you to easily group and label things, and it has lots of icons these days built in. So if you're looking for these pictures, PowerPoint also works. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, Yulia.
this is Bill. I just want to say I can see the absolute value of the application for this.
Yes. So, also, especially if you are doing agile, where you no longer have a BRD or business requirements document, the full package of requirements and everything. I know recently, well, wasn't recently, a few years ago, I got a new project to work on. It was with a new business unit, a new IT team I'd not worked with before. It was on an application I never heard of before. And when I got there and we, got started working on it, with the team and that, come to find out it was developed a few years ago. Then it was enhanced by another BA team. And when my partner and I got in there, I swear we had 100 documents to look through just to find out what this system is and get a starting point for ourselves. And that's the way kind of agile is, even though those other two teams weren't really agile in that, because there were BRDs, there were entity relationship diagrams, data dictionaries, those BRDs. Like I said, there was all kinds of notes, meeting notes and everything that we looked through in that just to find out what this system is and what it's supposed to be and before we could do our enhancement to it. I'm working on creating a blueprint, to leave behind in agile projects and that. And this ecosystem map is in my blueprint and that, and it really, at a higher level, shows what the system is, what kind of features it has in it, what user roles that it supports.
If I can say, it's an essential tool, very helpful to have and essential to have and to use especially for understanding systems at the beginning of a project. This was a very good lesson. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm glad you found use of that. So, anything else? I hope you're able to use this. And consider using it, especially when you're working with a system and need to understand how data goes up or where it comes from, and where it may where it goes to, how you pass it downstream, who relies on that information, and that so many times we're working on production issues that are not a production issue for the system I'm working on and that, but a downstream system says, hey, this is wrong. And the data came from us, or my system. As I was saying before, you can show in these, when data goes between external systems. So it may be, it's important to know, that you're getting customer data from the sales system and that, but it originated in the CRM, and that's passed to the CRM, and then This one would be backwards. Then the sales system sends it to the financial system. And so when it's important to know, how data, where it really originated from, not just the one system that sent it to you, the one system upstream that sent it to you and that, but know where it really came from before that. And so you can show, the interactions between those systems before that data gets to you. All right, that's what I had for you today. Glad to hear many of you find this useful. Saw in the chat a couple people say I'm definitely going to try this on the next project. Things of that nature. Thank you for all the thank yous. Essential tool to have and use. Really appreciate it. So everybody have a great rest of your day and a great weekend.
Same to you.
You too. Thank you.
Thank
Have a nice
you.
day. Bye.
Yeah.